Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Out and About Live Advice Centre. So our next talk is all about essential motorhome gadgets and accessories. However, before I hand you over to Darren and Riki to do this talk, I want you all to get your best singing voices ready, because it's someone's birthday today. So if you'd all like to join me in wishing Darren a very happy birthday. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Darren. Ooh. Happy birthday to you. Hooray! Oh, wicked. Thank you very much. What was that? I thought someone said something. Thank you very much. Right, over to you, boys.
Cheers.
You can all go now. We only wanted you here for that, so you're all free to go. Thanks for joining us. We're here to talk about motorhome essential gadgets and accessories.
Yes. Now we've been doing. I better use the clicker, and I give you. We've got this big screen here, so I might as well use it. So I've been full time for about 8 years now, and I have bought tons and tons and tons of stuff. Most of it not good, some of it good, some of it essential. You've been motorhome for quite a while.
Yeah. So we've been motorhome for about 4 years. Most of the stuff we've bought is because of him, so we're blaming him for that. But yeah, we've bought our fair share of some successful products and some not so much.
So now the things we're going to go through are specific to us. So there are going to be some things that you guys are going to love. So if I say bad things about them, I really apologise. But it's down to personal situations, isn't it? So I'm full time. You're out quite a lot of the time.
Yeah, and just because we use our vans slightly differently, we even disagree on the categorisation of some of these products.
Of them, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, let's crack on. So we've got 3 categories: essential, useful, and don't waste your money. Now, like I say, don't waste your money is very subject to us, and you might agree, you might disagree.
Actually, talking about don't waste your money. So last night we were in Darren's van, and Darren's got his latest gadget, we'll call it. Do you want to tell these lovely people what you're thinking of, and you can decide which of those categories this will fit in?
Right, a dishwasher for the motorhome. Who doesn't want a dishwasher?
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Has anybody got a dishwasher in their motorhome?
Come on, who wants a dishwasher for the motorhome? It's a portable dishwasher. That's essential.
Yeah, well, so when you bump into Darren in about 6 months' time, can you ask him how he's getting on with his dishwasher and which of those categories he's putting it in?
Right. Now, I can't have a dishwasher without power, an onboard power system. So myself and you've got a fully installed system.
Yeah, they're quite similar, actually, aren't they?
Yeah, right. So because we use a lot of power and I'm full-time on the road, I've got a fully installed system with solar on the roof and then 2 lithium batteries and inverter. Pretty much what you've got, right?
Pretty much identical, yeah.
Yeah. Now, again, it goes with how much power you're going to want and how much you're going to use to what the system you need. You don't need to go like that, do you?
No, so, lots of the things we're going to talk about is literally down to how you use your van.
Yeah, and when.
Yes, sure. Yeah. So if you're cooking chicken wings all the time, like some people, you're probably going to need a lot more power than if you're just going out and charging your iPad and your phone.
100%. And if that is the case, then you might be fine with just a little power bank. You can get really small ones just for your tablet. You can get even bigger ones which can do things like, kitchen gadgets, air fryers and all this and that. Like we've got ones here. This is an all-in-one unit. We call it power bank or a solar generator, they're called. They'll have inverters inside them and they can charge from solar, they can charge from mains and 12 volt as well, can't they?
Yeah, they can do everything in one.
You've got one as well?
Yeah, I've got one as well. Even if you've got a full system, they're quite handy to give you that backup, particularly in the winter when you're getting no solar.
I used mine yesterday because I drained my system down to about 30%. Too much cooking chicken wings, to be fair. So I plugged my big power bank into the side of the motorhome and recharged my motorhome to about 70-75%. Which is great because I can stay still for longer. But again, it goes with however you guys travel, however you want to use and how much power you use. Next one, alarm trackers and steering locks.
Yeah, now a lot of insurance companies will insist or quote very favourably if you've got a tracker and an alarm. A lot of them, it's mandatory now as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they are making it mandatory because they are expensive pieces of equipment, and obviously insurance companies, no matter what you think, they're not cute and cuddly. They don't love paying out, so they want to protect their investment. So yeah, it is becoming more common to have them installed. I've got some sort of tracker in my vehicle. No one take it because I will find you. It is tracked. I did have a steering lock, but now I've got the Remis blind, so that would only be good for me to see. The bad guy can't see it no more, so it doesn't really deter.
No, and we've got a bear lock on ours as well. And bear lock are apparently very big in Europe, and if a thief sees a bear lock sticker, apparently they won't even touch it because they're incredibly difficult to break.
So do we all need stickers?
Yeah, so save the money on the bear lock, just get a sticker. But
we all need stickers.
Yeah, it locks your motorhome in reverse, and you cannot take it out of reverse. So if you can reverse up to a wall or a fence or something and then lock it in reverse, it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
So they're good as well.
Now, fire extinguishers. Now, we've got a picture of a fire safety stick here. Now, I used to have the traditional big canister fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
You had them?
Same, yeah.
Now, the problem with those, and these are at the show, I believe, out and about around, they weigh so little and they are just so convenient because I actually did get to mess around with some fire extinguishers and some fire, and I've never used an actual fire extinguisher until we played with them, and they only last for about 4 to 5 seconds, and they're really sporadic. They're not easy to use, and the powder that comes out of them, if you know, we don't want the time to arise that you need to use one, but if you do and you control the fire, you put it out, you're then left with all that residue of all that dust and powder, which is poisonous. It's not great for you.
No. Has anybody got one of these fire sticks? Yeah, they are great. And has everybody else just got a normal fire extinguisher? So, I mean, just some quick stats. So these things, they weigh about 10% of an equivalent fire extinguisher.
Yep.
And like Darren said, a normal 1 kilo extinguisher will discharge in 5 to 7 seconds. So if you've got a fire, you've got 5 to 7 seconds of discharge to put it out. The smaller one of these, because there's 2 sizes, will give you 50 seconds. The bigger one, 100 seconds. So it's a massive increase.
And with the canisters, you've physically got to hold it and be there present and aim it at the fire. That you can strike, let it go, and then leave it next to the fire and then evacuate.
Yeah.
So you can leave it doing its thing and it can potentially put it out on its own.
Yeah.
Might not, but you don't have to be there if it's not safe for you to be there.
Yeah. And if you've got a normal fire extinguisher, they should be serviced every year. And that's something to be really careful of because we hope you never need it. But if you do, and it's been sat there for 7 years, never serviced. I mean, the shelf life is normally about 5 years on a normal extinguisher. These ones need no servicing at all, other than a visual inspection that it's not damaged, and they last 15 years.
And even then disposing of them, I know it sounds like we're really hard selling these, but it's the weight issue, it's the convenience, and mine's Velcro to the wall. It's been there since I got the motorhome, hasn't moved, and you can Velcro them anywhere. So they are easy to grab, easy to use. But I know throwing them away is the last thing you think of if you've had a fire, but disposing of them canisters, you can't just throw them in the bin. You have to dispose of them properly. These can go in the bin once they've done. Yeah. So definitely worth a look at them. I can't actually remember off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah.
For the smaller one,
we have got discount codes for the website. So if you want to take a picture of that or anything, you can use that.
Does it work from just like the CO2?
Yeah, you strike them, don't you?
Yeah.
And then they're
so you strike them, and if you want to stay with it, you can direct it. Or if it's a situation where you want to leave, you can strike it, put it down, and leave.
Yeah.
But the advantage if you do that is with a normal extinguisher, it's it might save your van, but the damage to your van can be immense in terms of the clean-up.
Doesn't leave all that around.
We know how powder works.
Yeah.
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 Right? Is this just an inert gas?
Yeah, so it basically, we're not fire officers, but it removes the oxygen
it starves
from the
it of
fire.
oxygen.
So very similar to
There's
a
a lot of
powder.
videos. I mean, I've done videos with it on the channel. There are a lot of videos on their website as well, so how it works. And they've got plenty of demonstrations, but they are good.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
the number, the weight. So this will
Yeah.
weigh approximately 10% of the extinguisher.
Yeah.
The discharge time, much longer. The shelf life, you've got 15 years as opposed to 5.
Yeah.
0 annual servicing. So when you add it all up, it's
Yeah.
a really good, particularly for your camper or your motorhome,
Yeah.
a really good alternative because of all those advantages
Yeah.
for something that will technically do the same job.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely worth looking into.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
With
once
an
you
extinguisher,
strike,
you've got to
once you
hold
strike
it.
it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's me. There we go. Yeah, too many. No worries.
Okay, right, let's move on. So next
Right.
we've got a hose and a hookup cable.
Yeah, you can't go to campsite and take full use of the campsite if
No.
you haven't got them with you.
No, and don't get told off like Darren did.
Yeah, if you're going to the club sites, then you do need a 25-metre cable. It is in the rule book.
Yeah.
And don't dare ask for an extension and a connector because they will quote that rule book to you. And I'm like, well, am I going to get an extension or because I can't kind of reach the power?
Yeah.
So you do want decent cable, a good thick gauge cable.
Yep. And a hose pipe, obviously.
Yeah.
Water, you need to be able to.
But when you hook up, please unravel the cable. Don't leave them on
Yeah.
the reels. Don't leave them all tangled up because they do get warm and then it can cause problems and issues.
Yeah.
And you don't. Yeah, you might then have to use one of them, which we don't want, right? We don't want.
We want to avoid that at all
Yeah.
costs. And then just quickly, the collapse waste pipes
Yes.
are really good. So they
I've never used these, but you've got these.
yeah, and I must admit, actually, more recently, a lot of these sites are encouraging you to drop your grey waste on the flower beds and stuff. So you could argue they're less useful, but when you're trying to put it down a drain, they go to 50 centimetres and then extend to a metre,
Yep.
and they all clip together. So if you buy them in a pack of 5, technically you've got a 5-metre hose to drop your waste straight into
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I've seen plenty of
drains.
people use them. I've just never used them. But that,
Yeah.
like you say, they are encouraging you to drop the waste near the flower beds and the grass now. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors.
Yeah, I guess this is linked to the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that we all hope we never need it. But
Mine started screaming at me the other day.
Did it?
It just started bleeping, and I was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" Because I wasn't even cooking, and the wings weren't burning. They were not. Wouldn't do that. Wouldn't dare do that. It was the battery. So one other thing that we should put on that is have spare batteries in the motorhome or a rechargeable battery for them, because I then had to go find a battery, order a battery. A couple of days it took. And you just don't want that
No.
a couple of days in between. But
I think the other thing is we all have our routines with our
Yeah.
vans. Whether you're loading the van, unloading the van, your weekly bit of housekeeping, try and build in a test. for
Yeah,
each of
yeah,
these
yeah.
just to make sure they are working, because you don't want to find out the hard way that it's not worked for 6 months.
and I remember John telling me you can get some really fancy ones now, ones with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And they've got detectors like heat sensors in there and that. So again, if you're getting some if you've got pets and all things, they're pretty good for that. If you've got
Yeah.
internet in the thing, which we'll get onto, pretty good.
Yeah.
Motorhome toolkit to suit your motorhome skill level. Now that's been put there for me because I have no skill level. I'm barely trusted with a screwdriver. But it is good to have a little toolkit, right?
Yeah.
Just to be able to do the basics.
Yeah, the run-in repairs, like
Yeah.
you say, suiting your needs. But yeah, John, who was normally here,
Yep.
he's got his garage full of tools because he's a technician, whereas yours is
Mine's
is a screwdriver.
Mine's like a little Mikado set, basically, Mikado toolkit.
Yeah, but you want to be able to do your running repairs that you're capable of doing.
Yeah. Tyre pressure monitors. Now, you can get manual or electric ones, but you can also get the ones that you actually put on the dust caps, can't you?
Yes.
They
yeah.
look pretty good. I'm thinking about getting them because they measure the sensors of the temperature and the pressure.
Yeah, and a lot of your motorhomes run at really high pressures
Yes.
as well. So if you need to check it, because it's not as easy to top them up as some of the compressors
No.
won't go high enough.
And tyres are not cheap.
No.
Tyres are not cheap. So having the correct pressures, keep them running at the correct size and,
Yeah.
and the tread and everything, so you get more out of them. So yeah, do regularly check them and then have that on hand. Motorhome specific sat nav. You've got one?
Yes, we've all been down those lanes, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where we thought we'd just use Google Maps. It'll be
Yeah.
fine. What
Yeah,
could possibly go wrong?
How many of you use Google Maps with your motorhome or camper vans? How many of you have come a cropper with that? Yeah. So I've got my Apple CarPlay, which has got my Google Maps in front on the screen, and then it's like a spaceship at the front of my motorhome, and then I've got my TomTom Go Camper Max underneath, and I've put both in before, and then the Google one says, 15 minutes earlier, you'll get there, easier, 10 miles shorter or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've taken that and I've regretted it so fast because it will take you down a little country lane and you're like, I shouldn't be down here. I really shouldn't be down here.
Yeah.
Clipping the sides, like, that's a few more scratches. Lovely, thank you very much.
The trouble is that Google Maps is so good, right? So I think the perfect solution would be like a paid version of Google Maps that you can put your dimensions in. Then you've got everything in one place, but it just doesn't exist.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes?
It's only as good as Magic Earth that lets you put dimensions in.
Okay.
Links to using, I don't know if it's Open Maps or Google Maps.
That's pretty good to know. Thank you very much.
What was it called? Sorry, Magic Earth.
Yeah. They are. I mean, I've got the TomTom, and to be fair, it's worked here and in Europe, and it's done fantastic. It hasn't taken me down any dodgy roads. And then on the maps when I'm driving along, because I'm a 5-ton motorhome, it will show me little red marks on all the roads where it's a weight limit road. So it won't let me go down them, or it will really scream at me before I do go down them. So they are pretty good. They do save a lot of stress.
Yes, 100%.
I used one with a truck when I was a lorry driver. I'm pretty sure you've used one with the trucks.
Yeah, definitely. Well worth the money.
They do help. Reversing cameras and sensors. Again, these are becoming a bit...
Yeah, on your insurance, they seem to be asking a lot more now. Have you got reversing cameras?
Yeah,
and sensors, and
they do want them more, because again, the back end of a motorhome, it's not just. I mean, cars aren't cheap these days either, but clumping the back of a motorhome, it's not a cheap thing to repair.
Replacing the whole back end.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, because they're nice big plastic.
Yeah,
bumpers and this, that, and the other. So they're quite expensive. So and they are useful. I mean, I've got cameras on the back of mine, so I can see, and it makes parking quite a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So if it doesn't come factory fitted, there's some really great aftermarket ones that can be installed really easily.
Right. Useful items, diesel heater. Now I'm in the process of of trying to find a diesel heater and get one installed on mine. I did have one on my first one. You've got one?
Yes, we got one installed earlier this year, and it's an alternative, isn't it? I don't know if you're struggling for LPG, particularly the refillable. It's becoming harder and harder to get refillable LPG.
Yeah, it is.
So particularly in the winter.
And again, it goes with, so we said mention winter. If you're going to be predominantly a summer traveller, and there are the odd cold night, but if you are literally going in the summer here, there, and everywhere, or into Europe in the summer, then you're probably not going to want a diesel heater. So again, it's to tailor to your needs. But if you're going to be travelling in winter, you're not going to have much solar, so that's not an option. No. And then LPG is becoming a bit more scarce. But that doesn't stop me getting gas, which is refillable gas.
Yeah, so I don't think we're at that stage where we're just going to kiss goodbye to gas. And the frustration is you go to Europe and it's so easy, isn't it?
It really is.
So easy.
Yes.
Every time you get fuel, LPG.
It's just everywhere over there. So even if I got my motorhome now and it didn't have refillable gas, I would put refillable gas bottles on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change that. Fast forward 5 years, that might change. But at the moment, I go to Europe quite a lot, so I will always opt for that. It is a lot cheaper than Cala.
Yes, definitely is, yeah. And you can just top up as and when, whereas with your Cala bottle, you've got to let it run completely empty to get your value for money, and then you need gas. So whereas this, you can just top up. If you find a garage that's got some, just top it up.
USB sockets. Now, who wishes that motorhomes and campervans come with more USB sockets? They come with 12-volt barrels everywhere, don't they?
Yeah.
But the cigarette lighters, but they don't really. They're starting to, and some of them are even getting like the PD ports. And I saw one at the one of the shows, and it had a wireless charging plate on the side. I was like, yeah, I need that. Definitely need that.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, they are an essential in life these days.
Everything comes with a USB cable.
Yeah, we charge it all
really?
off of them. So I think motorhomes, putting them in is definitely a thing. Wi-Fi.
Now this is one that you could put in essential. We all love that Instagram perfect travel where you're going to these remote places. It's a fantastic beach or a lake or a mountain top.
That's where I get my bikini on and, take that Instagram
Yeah,
picture,
so if you're not
People
following-
love it. They love it.
If you're not following Darren on Instagram, make sure you do. But of course, to get to these places, you need the internet.
Yeah.
So we want to disconnect, but we need to be connected.
We need to be connected to disconnect, right?
Yeah.
Now, but it can be as simple or as complex as you want. Now, if you're not using much internet, then maybe just hotspotting off your own phone to your tablet for a bit of Netflix in the evening or chilling out, reading a book or something is easy.
Just checking Darren's Instagram.
Yeah, you could, definitely. Or you can go as complex to the other end, which I've just purchased, is Starlink, which is satellite internet. So you're not reliant on the 4G or 5G. You're connecting to the Elon Musk satellites. It is expensive. It's like £85 a month. Yeah, it is expensive. I use it quite a lot because I'm constantly uploading videos and data. I'm uploading anywhere between 50 and 200 gig a week. So I need it. But that £85, you can turn it off. So you just do a 1 month thing and then turn it off when you want.
If you don't want to go the whole hog for Starlink, then your normal cellular data, you've got a few options then. So
there
like
is
Darren
a few
said,
options in between.
Hotspot off your phone, very simple, dead easy.
Yeah.
Or you can install your own router.
Yeah, perfectly.
And then one step further, get an external aerial on the roof as well.
And that will do most people. And I would suggest having different networks. So you've got one in the router and then one on your phone as different networks, just to try and, make sure you've got data on one or the other,
And there are certain networks that seem to work kind of really well in opposites.
Yes.
So we've got 3 on our phones, but Beth and I, but the router's got EE.
Yeah.
And
I've got it the opposite way round.
Right, but the same two networks.
So the same two networks.
And you do tend to find where one is really weak, the other's really strong. So they do sort of work really nicely together.
Yeah.
To give you something.
Window vacs and hoovers. Now, condensation can be quite a thing in the vans, right? You want water out, don't you? You don't want it hanging around. You don't want it in, you want it out. So, and I don't know about you lot, but I can't wait for the heater to just clear that screen. But then I also don't want smudge marks on the screen. So it's catch-22. So the window vac is a brilliant option, isn't it?
It really is. And if you don't go on sites a lot,
yep.
So you on the site, you're probably one of those silver screens are really good because they stop the condensation straight away.
Yeah.
And they can keep the warmth out in summer and they keep the heat in winter. But if you're parked up in a lay-by, you probably don't want to put that on because you want the option to move fairly quickly if you want to. So therefore, you open yourself up to this whole condensation. So if that's how you travel, the vac is a good idea.
Yeah, the window vacs are good. And then a Hoover because, they are small vehicles and that, but they do get messy pretty quick.
Very quickly,
it's definitely a useful item to have. CCTV, dash cams, and external locks.
Yeah, so the CCTV kind of links back to your Wi-Fi as well, doesn't it?
Yes.
If you've got the CCTV, you need to be able to look at it.
Yeah.
So, but you've got a system on yours, haven't you?
Yeah, now I've got one on mine. Now, I just want to be able to see the van whilst I'm away from it and see outside whilst I'm in it without showing myself first. If you hear something outside, I can just quickly look on my camera. Now, I've gone really, really simple. Again, my technical skills and my DIY skills are very, very poor at the best. So I went and got Blink doorbells and stuck them to the side of the motorhome. And they're still there. They haven't moved a muscle. They've been down the motorway at 70 miles an hour for 16 months now, 17 months, and they're fine. And I've got one on each side, and I've got a few inside. And I can just go on with my internet and on the app and see whatever's around.
They are quite strangely disguised. You think by Darren describing it, it's going to look horrendous, but actually...
they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
And every now and again you do get someone come up and press the button. And you're like, which probably a lot of you are going to do now because just for bants, and that's fine, Just remember, when you press that button, it's recorded your face. So any funny faces, they will go on the Instagram. But again, it's not there for security purposes, as in, I've got CCTV. If someone, I could potentially use it if someone does something, but it's just for me to be able to see the van. Is it still where I left it, and what's around it basically. Dash cam.
Now there's interesting driving out there, isn't there?
Oh, there's some special driving out there. That's
Yeah.
that's putting it lightly.
Yeah.
But you want to be again, they're very expensive units, so you want to capture them moments because they're such gold. So it's definitely worth having a dash cam. Now I did check with your insurers, but if you mention that you have a dash cam to the insurers when you're talking to them, and the event of something happening, they could ask you for the footage because you've told them you have one. So if you do have one and you don't always charge it, you don't always have it on, or the memory card's always full, then I would probably say don't tell them or talk to them about it because you don't want to be asked, tell them and then ask for it and then you can't provide it. Again, it just goes back to how lovable insurance companies are.
I think that's a good point with everything we've mentioned.
Yeah.
It's linked to insurance. They will have an expectation.
Yeah.
If you've told them you've got it, it's working. Whether it be your reversing cameras, your tracker, your
100%.
Dash cam. So just be really mindful. If you've told them when you got your policy, you better make sure it's working.
Yeah. External locks. You've got these.
Yeah.
You're thinking of putting these
I'm
on.
looking for them. But the locks that come as standard they're not great, are they?
No. Now the external locks. I've got ones that slide over the garage door. They're Malenko ones, and then you push the button. Now I'm not going to tell you that I had the motorhome for less than 12 hours and locked myself out of my own garage with my keys inside the garage. So I could the entire. When you get your motorhome from a dealer or someone, and they give you the entire bunch on one set of keys. Yeah, I left them in and then closed the door and pressed the button.
The ironic thing was when you demonstrated to somebody how good these external locks you've just put on were, and then instantly locked yourself out.
And I instantly locked myself out. Yeah, and that was it. I had to then call a locksmith. So that was great. That was really fun. I got a nice bill for that for about 2 minutes of work for him because it's easy for him. £80 later.
But it proves they work.
Yeah. Tyre inflators.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier with the
we mentioned the
pressure kits, didn't we?
Pressure kits, yeah.
Yeah, if you've got one, just double check that it can actually inflate your tyres to the required
100%, because
pressure.
I bought too many of them. I'm wishfully thinking buying ones like this, like a little, like that, like that, and like an extra, like a beer can, and it says it'll do 150 psi. Will it heck? Yeah,
well, it depends how long you've got.
Yeah, it wouldn't blow a match over. And I'm like, come on, So yeah, do look at the reviews and do test them. Quality items.
No, yeah. See, does anybody use Temu? No.
Oh, it's just.
That's my wife, by the way. We have so much stuff from Temu, and I always think of this slide when she's saying, "I've just ordered some more." I mean, I didn't know you could make plastic of such poor quality. It's beyond belief. I mean, if you haven't ordered from them, just try it. You'll be amazed at how poor it can be. So as an alternative to that, our suggestion is that you buy one quality item.
Yeah.
Because it's going to save you space rather than having 3 or 4 pans.
Yep.
If you can buy one quality pan, but it's going to last you as well.
100%. Like you just last, and because space is a premium in motorhomes and campervans, and the weight.
Yeah.
So you don't want tons of everything, do you?
Yeah.
Right. Bike, scooter, and motorcycle. Now, John and Tash had a motorcycle, didn't they?
Yes. Full on motorbike.
Yeah, full on motorbike. They travelled with that. They eventually got rid of it because they weren't really using it that much. I've got an electric bike, which I say I ride around, but I don't. I use the throttle. I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. I use the throttle.
You were telling someone the other week that you rode. I
rode.
You didn't ride it.
I didn't ride it.
You didn't go a metre. You just used your throttle.
But they're great. They're great for getting around. I use it over here, and then I use it in Europe a lot. If you're just parked up on the site and you want to go down to the local shop, Tesco's or somewhere, or I use it for fishing as well, going down the rivers. Pretty good.
There's more and more places putting height barriers in. You go to places you used to go to with no problem, and you rock up and now there's a height barrier. So it means that you can park out of town, if that's where you are, and then jump on your electric bike. If you're in Europe, because they're not legal in this country yet, you can use your scooters, and it just opens up the options to explore local areas much easier.
Yeah, I can just see me on a scooter, though, hitting a pothole and... Yeah, I did have an actual electric scooter, and I went out. I was at a Hereford campsite, the rowing club, and I went out on it. And my friend Phil, he was chuckling as I was going out. He's like, "That's not going to live. That's going to come back dead." And I was like, "No, it'll be fine, Phil. It'll be fine." So I went out. I returned in a taxi with it in the boot. Yeah, I hit a pothole, burst a tyre, and bent the disc. All on its first outing. So that was great. So that was the end of that. I gave it to my brother in the end and said, if you can fix it, you can have it.
Don't you hate it when people are right?
Yeah, he could not stop laughing when he got... Because he thought I'd killed the battery.
Right.
I don't know why.
I
don't know why the battery would have died. Light as a feather over here. But they are good options for getting around. Max Van.
This is one of my purchases because of you.
Sorry.
But yeah, Max Air fans, if you haven't got them, are great. Aren't
they've got 10 speeds in and out, and they really do shift some air. Now, it's probably the closest thing you're going to get to like 12-volt aircon.
Yeah.
It's not aircon. It's not, but it does move a lot of air, and it can either get all that hot air out when you're cooking and all the smells out, or when it's raining, because it's got like a shrouded cover, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. So if it's absolutely tipping down, like yesterday,
did it rain yesterday?
Apparently there was a bit of moisture
bit wet,
in the air.
wasn't it?
And you're cooking, you can just use it like you would do on a normal sunny day because it's got this rain cover.
Yeah.
And it's those hot nights where it's just still.
Yeah.
You're trying to get to sleep. It's great at just getting that air moving. You crack a window and you either put the fan on blow or suck in, and it just moves that air.
Yeah.
And it drops the temperature massively.
It does. And you can set the temperature as well, so it turns itself on and off and opens itself. I've just installed 2 because you could... I think they come in a 350, but they also come in a 400. So most motorhomes and campervans have got a 400 by 400. So it's pretty much
your skylights as standard are likely, not guaranteed, but likely to be 400. So you can just take your existing skylight out,
and
whack
then
one of
get
these
it wired in, and then that's it. Yeah, and they really do work. Now, no, they don't use much power for what they are. They are Oh, compared to no. I could run on a sunny day. I mean, I'll take Steve, for instance. Steve Roman Radford. He's got his aircon. If we're both parked up in a field, he's got his solar power array and all that. He might get, I don't know, with his battery bank, he might get 8-9 hours out of full pace with his aircon. I could perpetually stay forever.
It's barely unnoticeable. The amount of power it uses, you literally... I mean, it's not nothing, obviously.
It's not nothing, but it is pretty much unnoticeable, especially when you're mainly going to be using it in warmer weather and sun. You're going to have the solar, so you'll be fine, yeah. Now, these are my... It says useful, but I say essential. Anyone got an ice maker? What? Come on, you all need to go out and buy an ice maker.
You see, it's not working so well today because all through the summer when these talks happen and it's blazing hot outside, everyone starts going, that's a great idea.
This time last year, it was like 35 degrees here, and I asked them, and they're like, you've got an ice maker. Can I come get some ice?
Yeah, where's your fan?
Yeah, now, so I've got an ice maker and an air fryer and an induction hob. Did I say like power? I've just bought a deep fat fryer as well. I've got to update the slide. Who hasn't got a deep fat fryer in the motorhome?
Don't forget the dishwasher as well.
Yeah, so that's why I need a dishwasher. Yeah. But they're great. Not everyone has them, but air fryers are becoming quite popular now, aren't they?
Really popular. In fact, I think down the line we'll see motorhomes not having ovens anymore.
Yeah,
just having an air fryer. And the good news is when you've got solar, it's free.
Yeah, you do need an inverter, so you can either have a full system put in with an inverter, be on hookup, or you can have a big power solar generator, a power bank, to run them. But it's cooking on free energy really, if you've got the solar system. I love me ice drinks.
Yeah.
Now, don't waste your money. Again, if I badmouth any of this and you've got it and you love it, please don't bully me. Waste hog and aqua rolls.
Well, we disagree on this one. See, I think the aqua roll in particular has a time and place. So the bank holiday weekend, a couple of weekends ago, we were at a festival, and it was Thursday to Monday. Now, I took my aqua roll there because I knew when we got there, we were parked up and it was rammed, so you weren't going to be able to move your van. And so I couldn't get the van to the tap. So how do I get the water? And because Beth's in the van, so we use a lot of water. So I mean, let's just say it as it is. So I knew we'd run out of water. So we don't travel full time. So for you, you probably wouldn't allocate that much space.
Yeah, because they are big, they are bulky. Both of them items are big and bulky, and they are useful. I'm not going to say they're not useful, but they're useful in certain situations, like for that one there. But I'm, constantly moving around. I don't stop long enough to, warrant the space that they would take. So, it's one that I've never even bought. So, sat dish and dome for the TV. I don't know how these still exist.
Who watches normal TV anymore where you need an aerial? We just stream everything. It goes back to your kind of Wi-Fi and your internet, but we stream everything.
Now, I know in the real remote valleys of nowhere, a satellite will have their TV, and they'll probably laugh at me then. Not with my Starlink internet now. Although they're probably laughing at my bill. And I'm not. I'll be sitting there crying. But yeah, I just see that as a potential power space for solar.
Yeah, your roof space is far better being used for solar power.
100%. And if you've got one of the sat dishes or the domes and it casts a shadow on the solar you've got on there, it will dramatically decrease the power that you've got coming in, which is to a shocking amount. Portable washing machine.
Right. So, I see this as being a very similar story to the dishwasher. Tell everybody about your washing machine, Darren.
When I first decided to buy a motorhome and move in and go full time, before I even bought the motorhome, I saw one of these and I was like, definitely need one of them. Definitely need one of them. I'll keep it in the toilet, the shower cubicle, and then when I need the toilet, I'll just move it out. But then I'll be able to do all my own washing. Didn't know where I was going to get the water from, and then didn't really know how I was going to dry it all because it only spin dries it. So I bought it, disregarded them thoughts, and then basically I tested it in my mum's kitchen to wash some socks. And then sold it. Never used it again. So yeah, they're really not great. I wouldn't recommend one. Washing up drying racks.
Yeah, just a bit of voice.
They are big and bulky, aren't they? And they, they're great to use, but storing them. It's where do you put the stuff? Yeah. So yeah, I don't think. DVDs and Blu-rays. This is just like a bully show. This really is. It's So when I moved into my motorhome, I literally moved out of my mum's house, straight into my motorhome, drove off within the weekend. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I'd kind of do it a bit more planned, to be fair. I had 13 kilos of DVDs and Blu-rays.
That didn't include the cases. That was just the discs.
Yes.
And how much did you watch them?
Not once. Not once did I watch them. I streamed. Yeah. I don't know so far. Yeah, it just didn't. So you don't need them. You do not need them at all. Carrying too much crockery.
Yeah, sometimes you kick yourself out like you're having a dinner party. And it's kind of very acceptable in the norm if you meet up with people. Yeah. They're going to turn up with their own plate and cup and knife and fork. And they don't expect you to lay on a full platter for them.
Yeah, I mean, every one of you are welcome for a cuppa or an ice cold beverage at mine. Just bring your own cup. Yeah, because I'm not going to have cups for everyone. I'm really not. Because you don't need it. Again, it's space and weight, isn't it? Yeah. Clothes era. I had one of these as well.
Of course you did, because you had the washing machine.
Yeah. One that was going to hook on the window outside and then No, just didn't use it. Didn't, and then just where to store it. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
A lot of these things are when if you live full time in your motorhome, you try and live like you're in a house. Yeah, and it doesn't really work, does it? So
the dishwasher will.
Yeah, it absolutely won't.
That will work. Windbreaks and safari rooms.
Divorce in a bag.
They are called a divorce in a bag. Now it's quite a great a sport to watch almost. And I don't like reveling in people's pain and anguish and all this and that and frustration. But we'll go help them if they need it. But sometimes just watching them trying to put one of these up is classic. It's better than TV. It really is, just watching them. Especially if there's a little bit of wind. Yeah. Then you're on. It is on.
It's like a two-parter because you know full well in a few days they'll be trying to take it down as well.
Yeah.
So you just wait for episode 2.
And then you've got the midweek. It's just going to be like that, constantly going. And it's, no, I don't stop long enough for a windbreak. There's been the odd time and I'm sitting there and I'm like, really could use a bit of a barrier right now, but it's I don't carry them. And zip-on wall awnings and zip-ons.
Yeah.
So again, they're the same, aren't they?
They might be great if you stay still. If you book onto a campsite and you book on for 2 weeks,
100%.
you're going to stay put.
I would definitely have one.
And then you kind of think you're probably better off with a caravan anyway, if you're honest, because you've got the car to go and explore then.
Yeah.
But for people like us that just keep moving, it's not really a good value, is it?
No. And that is everything. Now we're happy to take questions. Thank you very much. Any questions?
How do you get on with drying things, especially with weather like this weekend?
Oh, now you've opened up a whole different thing.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm lucky that I've got my shower room and I can hang stuff in there. And where I've had 2 Max fans put in, one of them is in the toilet shower, so I can turn that on to try and take some of the moisture out. I can turn the heating on, so it will heat the motorhome up, and then hopefully I'm still kicking that moisture out. I will try and do it that way, but it does take time. I mean, there isn't really, places you can hang it or anything apart from that area.
And diesel heaters are great for that. The type of heat they generate.
It's very dry,
it's very dry, and it can dry clothes quickly. And in terms of your normal washing, I mean, you're a massive fan of a service wash.
Oh, massive fan of a service wash at a laundrette. You just walk in and thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Catch you tomorrow. It just comes back magic, all folded, washed, and everything. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You do have to give them some money for it. They're not that magic. So things like that. But I do try. I mean, I do a lot of fishing, and I go out, and I try not to go out. If it's raining when I'm out, it's raining when I'm out. I'll fish. But I wouldn't go out in the rain because I know I've got to put all my fishing luggage back in the garage wet, and it will cause an issue if I'm not going to use it the next day or dry it out somehow. So you've got to be wary of moisture in that.
Yeah, you want to keep as much moisture out of your motorhome as possible.
Yeah. If you were gonna, the one thing I would say is if you were gonna, be absolutely drenched, completely, you've been out and it's all completely gone wrong, and this works as well with if you're around a campfire and you've got smoky clothes, and when I go fishing, I've got fishy clothes. I have a big dry bag, so if I know I'm going to be at a campsite or a friend's or something in the next day or 2, I would put all that, yucky clothes, wet clothes, stinking clothes in the bag, seal it up, and then deal with it. Deal with it in a day or 2, because it keeps all the wet in, it keeps the smoky smell in or the fishy smell in, and then it doesn't, affect the rest of your motorhome or camper.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
So, yeah. Any other questions?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi there. You've just purchased this wonderful all singing, dancing dishwasher.
Not purchased it yet. I'm on the cusp.
But how much water would it use, and how much power would it use?
Well, it's great for the planet. So this is, I'm just saving the planet by doing it, by buying it. Using my money to save the planet. I mean,
But if you didn't like the washing machine, because it wasn't.
Yeah,
that
no.
good,
So that was a lot of water, but this
Yeah.
this uses, I think it uses 2 to 3 liters because it recirculates the water.
So you're going to try it out at your mum's and then sell it?
Why do you want to buy one cheap?
You know what? Actually, I think
Is that what you're angling for? A cheap dishwasher?
I think these guys are on my side on this. And I think it's a really good point. If you got it delivered at your mum's, you can very quickly turn it round and get it sold, and you're not carrying it around with you. It uses very little water. Well, I've seen this tank, which just makes me question how good it is. It really does. I think you put it through the cycle, then you get the stuff out, then you wash it up properly.
Yeah?
I mean, if you talk about your single-use items, you can even wash your socks in your dishwasher.
See?
Can we not encourage it, please?
And you know what? The best feature that's going to be used the most, it's got a setting that I can use it to wash my fruits and vegetables. And clearly, I'm a massive fruit and vegetable eater.
I think you'd be better off washing your socks in it.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
You mentioned that you use the door...
The Blink doorbells, yeah.
which are
Yes.
So, if you were using that, you said some people use them as they think it's a button. So
Yeah.
obviously that must be near the door. But where do you put the other ones? Have you got
No, they're all on the corner. So I've got one on each corner, and I bought they're you can touch them, you can get to them, so people can come along and press my doorbell if they want. There's a doorbell. They've all got because they all are doorbells, video doorbells, so they can get to them, and kids can poke them and press them and that, and then run away and think they've and my phone starts ringing, bing bing, and I'm like, oh great, thanks. But I've got little brackets, so you attach them to the bracket, and then the bracket's stuck, so it can angle them. So they're stuck to the flat wall, but then they're angled just a little bit to see down the side, and they're really wide angle, aren't they?
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but they are actually really good. They really
I've
work
got a
well.
video on my channel about them when I stuck them all on, and they're just stuck on with a bit of VHB tape. Really don't need much of that stuff. Don't use loads of that because that sticks really well. I don't know how I'm going to get it off if I ever need to get it off. But yeah, and they're just stuck there. They are, like I say, rechargeable battery. I use rechargeable 1.5 volt lithium batteries. It was very specific that it had to be 1.5 volt lithium batteries. They were a little bit expensive, but I bought them as rechargeables. So I just pop them all out, recharge them, put them back in, and they're good to go. There was a subscription, and yeah, stupidly, I was paying, even though I had, you get a little hub box, and you can stick a USB stick in it, and it'll record onto the USB stick. So I didn't need to pay for the subscription, but I was. I don't know why, but I've cancelled that now. So you can have the subscriptions, and it will save it online, and like to Amazon or Blink. Or you can just have it by a big USB stick, and then you can just access it all from that. You can still see it on your phone, yeah. The only one downside is you can't see all cameras in one screen. That's the only downside. Again, I wasn't trying to, keep it as a top security system and see people, all this and that, and want to see a complete 360 view. I just wanted to be able to see things, and it's great for people that have got pets as well, because I've got them inside, so I can see inside the motorhome or in the garage. So if anyone tries to break in my garage and think, "Oh, he ain't gonna see me," yeah, I am.
They are quite good as well because you can arm them and disarm them. So if you're having a barbecue outside your motorhome, it's not going to keep going off every 3 seconds as people are sat there eating the burgers. When you leave, you just arm it, and then it knows to notify you if it's triggered by any activity.
Yeah.
And then it's saved on your USB memory stick, which, like Darren said, you don't need a subscription for that.
You can arm it like if you're going into a tight car park at Tesco's and someone bumped you, you're likely to probably get the footage along with your dash cam, and things like that. Really, yeah.
Is it on your website?
It's on the videos on the channel. Yeah.
The subscription's £50 a year.
Yeah, I think. Oh, has it gone up?
No, it was 20.
Yeah. Because I was paying like £8 a month or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've cancelled that, and now I've got just the USB stick. Yeah. Any other questions? No.
No one's nicked it.
No one's nicked them. Don't try. Now I know who to come and find. Yeah. And no one's tried to pull them off or nick them or anything, which is surprising because they do. You can't see them, you can access them. But no, they're all good. Yeah.
Not so much a gadget, but how many streaming services do you subscribe to?
Oh, too many. I've got the best one I probably have got is YouTube Premium. I don't deal with adverts. No adverts. I haven't seen an advert.
We waited
in years.
for ages for and then as soon as we got, it's one of those things you get it and you go, we should have got it ages ago.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what was the name of the reversing security thing you were saying at the beginning?
Oh, the bear lock.
Bear lock.
Oh yeah,
that's
bear lock.
Yeah.
And they do all sorts as well. I mean, that's just the thing that locks your van in reverse. But if you want, they do a safe and that fits under your seat. So if you live full time, you want somewhere to put your valuables and your passport, and they're all very highly rated, and the locks come with all sorts of stats, how you can't pick them and everything else. And they always say, please don't lose your keys, because we put them in and we can't get them out. So that's how good they are. So
I shouldn't get one of them. Then I lose my keys in my garage, and I lock myself out of that.
You don't lose your keys; they're always in your door on the outside.
That is true. That is true. Many times I've left the keys in and gone to sleep. And they're just in the door. It's like almost a honey trap. They're like, nah, not doing that.
Yeah.
There must be police watching that. There's definitely police watching that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes?
Yeah.
Yep.
What size battery and what size solar have you got?
So I've got two 305 watt panels on the roof, so 610 on the roof, and then I've got 460 amps of lithium. And yeah, then I've got the two DC to DCs for when I drive, because I do a lot of driving, so I might as well get as maximum power as I can. And then I've got a big multi-plus charger, inverter charger. So when I'm on sites, I can be charging like 100 amps. So I don't have to be on, if I was only, because some sites let you go on for like 4 hour period, like you can pay for a pitch for like 4 hours, so you can go empty the tanks, use the facilities and charge up for 4 hours. It's not all sites, but some of them do it. So I could fully charge in that time if I was flat. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, no, the multi-plus will boost it. I don't understand the magical powers inside it, but I know when I plug in on site, I'm pulling in. I can pull in up to 120 amps if I want, but I've lowered it just to not do that. But it is a normal 16 amp site. Yeah.
Just one last question, sorry, here.
Both of you use diesel heaters. Did it take much room up in your van to put them, and how efficient have you found them? You haven't got yours yet.
I haven't got one in this one. Much room. Well, in my previous motorhome, I removed the spare wheel.
Yeah, so...
Don't know if that's smart, but I wanted the heater. Now, like I said, my DIY skills and mechanical skills are not good, so I'm not changing the spare wheel. So
we specified with ours, when we got it installed, we wanted it external, so we didn't lose any internal space.
Yeah.
So they put it in a special box and then duct it inside.
That's what I'm going to do in my
yeah,
one.
and that's... Yes. Yeah, underneath.
You can put it in the gaps of the chassis, right?
Yeah, so it's all protected by the chassis. It's up and under, and then they can vent as to where you want it. So we've got two vents in ours, one in the bedroom, one in the lounge area, and then a control panel inside, and it's superb. And
as for how hot they are, it's shorts and t-shirt in the middle of winter. It really is, isn't it?
Yeah, in no time at all.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the thing is, the diesel, again, I'm not an expert on this, but the diesel burns a lot hotter than LPG. So for bang for your buck, as it were, you get a lot more heat. And so, but you don't notice it. I mean, I don't know over time, if you sat there for 365 days, how much of your fuel you'd use. But
to be fair, I think me and John tried to figure it out about putting the normal tank in, like a little fuel tank in, or putting it into the main tank. To then run red diesel in the little tank. Yeah. And over the course of like a year, you'd probably be saving like 50, 60 quid.
Which is nothing.
Which is, and that's using using it all the time and all that. That's how little you are going to, I know 50 quid saving is a great saving, but I'm going to spill that diesel. And it's...
I went to a company, I specifically didn't want to use a Chinese diesel heater. So we wanted something of slightly better quality. So we use a company called Autoterm, and they're fantastic. And so they did it in a morning, and there's two different sizes. We went for the bigger size because we've got a big motorhome. Yeah. And they fit it where you want the unit. They'll talk you through it, and they fit the diesel hose to the main tank, because like Darren says, your two options are you have a separate small little tank, which is kind of, I guess, the cheap and quick option, or you just plumb it into your main tank and you just don't even notice it. You really don't. Yes, it's on the Fiat Ducato, yeah. So, but yeah. Yeah, Autoterm. So it's up in North Wales. Yeah. And
I think they're anywhere between, 800 and...
Yeah, I mean, job done. And there's quite a lot of work in terms of feeding the ducting through to exactly where you want it, depending on your motorhome as well, if you've got the two floors. I think all in, the whole lot was 900 something quid, I'm going to guess. But that's a good quality.
But I believe you can also use that one without the heat, can't you? So you can just use the fans. So on a hot day, because that's under the motorhome, and you're going to be that's where it's going to be getting its air from, under the motorhome, which is in the shadow. You could effectively use it as cool fans. You turn it on, running fans through the vents, cold air through the vents, because that's where it's getting the air from. And you're using it two ways then.
Yeah, and it comes with. We paid a bit more for the controller because the controller it's got a thermostat built in, so you can set it in a number of different ways. You can just whack it in terms of power. You can do it in terms of temperature. You can do it in terms of times, like you would do any normal heating system. So if you wanted, you could completely use this as your one and only heating system. We just use it as a top-up every now and then because we've got a normal Alder heating system. But because it runs on LPG, and if you're struggling for LPG, so if you go up to the top of Scotland and there is not a garage in place that sells LPG, you might want to conserve LPG just for, let's say, giving you hot water or for cooking, and you can keep yourself warm using diesel, which is much easier to get from every garage round and about.
No, because colours everywhere. Colour is everywhere. So I met a couple when I was up in Orkney, and they were only leaving the island, Orkney, because they'd run out of LPG, and there was no LPG on the island. So if they had a diesel heater and all this and that, then they could have eked the gas out and then used diesel for the heating, which uses, because gas uses quite a lot for heating. For the fridge, it's not much. And for cooking, it's not much. It's heating water and heating the heating system. So, yeah.
We're always looking to have backup options for everything. So what if this breaks? Yeah, what if I run out of gas? But you could do something like that. But
For instance, we just say Rocco.
Yep.
That LPG doesn't work.
Yep.
Yeah.
But everywhere's got the big calagas or
Yeah.
Yep.
right? And there's a standard hose right from gas low or whatever.
Yep.
Just fits into your LPG fillet hole and fits onto the top of a normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people, what they do is they have one tank of each.
Yeah.
They'll have one LPG and one Cala. And that's another option you could do if you want to give yourself options. But yeah.
We are going to have to cut it there, guys. Thank you very much. Big round of applause for Darren and Riki.
Thank you very much.
The next talk we have is Kat from Wandering Bird and Tash from Life Beyond Bricks, and they are talking about solo travelling. That'll be in the next couple of minutes. Thank you.